if you want to be rich, or if you want to get rich, you can't track CPI. You have to track asset inflation. I just read about it. I knew it was decentralized money, and I got the idea. It was kind of a cool thing, and there are a lot of like fanatic people that liked it, but it wasn't the solution to a problem I had. It was pretty clear that if you have $500 million in cash and the interest rate goes to 0, and it's going to stay at 0 for 36 months, then it's like putting all your money in a savings account earning 0. Well, you know there's no upside, but if there's hyperinflation in assets or asset inflation, and you're holding all your money in cash, not only is there no upside, but you realize that there's downside. You know, the real yield on cash is negative, but if you're tracking asset inflation, it becomes negative 20%. So Bitcoin is big tech, but without the company. What you're getting is just the pure big tech network. No CEO, no board of directors, no product, no iPhone. There's no employees, so there's no one to unionize. You don't need an iPhone 12 to be competitive, because the product of Bitcoin is just the Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin just gives you 1/21 millionth of the network now, it's quite reasonable that 1/21 millionth of the network in 100 years is just as valuable, probably more valuable than one Bitcoin in 100 years is more valuable than one Bitcoin today. But you can see that one iPhone 3 today is worth nothing. And one iPhone 12 in 100 years will be worth nothing. So the product that Apple is selling isn't going to last 1,000 years. The product that Bitcoin is selling is 1/21 millionth of all the money in the world. That doesn't have to change. It just kind of has to not break. So if you want to be rich, or if you want to get rich, you can't track CPI. You have to track asset inflation. And so, you know, you look at the S&P 500 and you say, well, I mean, that's the hurdle rate. So I think in March of 2020, you know, I realized that you couldn't continue to hold cash, and the best idea probably wasn't the big tech trade anymore. So what is the best idea? And so that drove me on a search, and I found Bitcoin because I had a problem, and the traditional solution didn't look like a solution anymore. It looked like the bloom was off the big tech rose. So what would you like? You would like to have a big tech network that has like all the dominance of Apple or Google or Facebook, but without the company attached. So what I liked about Bitcoin was it was a digital gold, or a digital property that you couldn't inflate, and it was on a big tech network that you could accelerate using computer technology. So call it digital gold without all the imperfections of gold, but the big tech element meant that you could plug layer 2 and layer 3 applications into it, like Square Cash, Lightning, Apple Pay, Google Pay. And if I plug applications into the Bitcoin network, then I can create smarter, faster, stronger gold. Smarter, faster, stronger property. And pretty much the core principle of how you get rich, or how you stay rich in the 21st century, is you dematerialize something from the physical world to the digital world, and you make it smarter, faster, and stronger. If you digitize music, you create Amazon and Apple Music or Pandora, it's smarter, faster, stronger, and you give it to billions of people. And if you dematerialize CDs and DVDs, or dematerialize concerts and Broadway shows, and you have YouTube. And if you dematerialize every library and every book and every university on the planet, you have YouTube and iBooks. And so the digital transformation of information and entertainment is how you provide joy and education to the world. Ergo, the digital transformation of property is how you provide wealth to the world. It's a very simple idea. It's not only Bitcoin, it's all the applications on top of Bitcoin, of which you've got PayPal and Coinbase and Binance and Square, but you have the BlockFi credit card. But MicroStrategy is an application on Bitcoin. Like our stock is a layer 2 application. Our debt is a derivative of Bitcoin. Our converts are derivatives of Bitcoin. So all sorts of things can plug into Bitcoin, and all of them are in essence, they're building applications and platforms on top of digital property in order to construct the 21st century cyber economy smarter, faster, and stronger, thinking a billion times a second, moving at the speed of light. So that's how you do it. That's how people create value. You either build on the internet platform or the PC. Or if you're in a country or your family's in a country where there's hyperinflation, that's a wake-up call. You discover Bitcoin. So the pandemic was a wake-up call. The lockdowns were a wake-up call for a lot of people in a lot of areas. Maybe you figured out Zoom or discovered Zoom for the first time. You know, maybe you learned about YouTube and you could do stuff on YouTube for the first time. Maybe you discovered Twitter for the first time. So I had a problem. I discovered Bitcoin for the first time. And then when I finally put out that tweet saying we bought $250 million worth of Bitcoin, other Bitcoiners, they discovered my previous tweet and they threw it right back at me. And I was like, wow, I said that? Interesting. And I could have deleted it, but I thought just better just to leave it there, just as a reminder that sometimes we think one thing and then we change our mind. I just read about it. I knew it was decentralized money. And I got the idea. It was kind of a cool thing. And there are a lot of like fanatic people that liked it, but it wasn't the solution to a problem I had. It was just one more thing. So there's 1,000 things you can invest in, you know, Uber and Airbnb and Bitcoin and the next Instagram thing and the Bumble thing and Tinder and, you know, and buildings and the like. There's always something. It just, I'm not a venture capital. I just kind of focused on my things. I did alarm.com, and I did angel.com, and I did MicroStrategy, and it was just that long tail thing. I did, you know, like a lot of people who are critics of Bitcoin, if you study it for an hour and you've got a lot of other priorities and a lot of other passions, you can find something to criticize about it.